Everything you think you know about the Amish might be wrong. From technology use to happiness levels, popular beliefs about Amish life often miss the truth completely. These 10 myths persist in mainstream culture despite being easily disproven by anyone who actually studies Amish communities beyond tourist stereotypes. Myth 1. The Amish reject all modern technology and live exactly like people did in the 1800s. The truth. The Amish don't reject technology wholesale, but evaluate each innovation individually based on whether it strengthens or weakens community bonds. This nuanced approach produces surprising results that contradict the blanket rejection myth. Many Amish communities use pneumatic tools powered by compressed air rather than electricity. Solar panels appear on Amish barns and homes, providing power for lights and appliances without connecting to electrical grids. Batteries power everything from flashlights to power tools in Amish workshops. Telephones exist in community phone shanties, small buildings housing shared phones that multiple families use for business and emergencies. Some progressive Amish groups allow limited computer use for business purposes, with restrictions on internet access and entertainment functions. The evaluation criteria focus on community impact rather than inherent technology evil. Will this device pull family members apart or bring them together? Does it create dependency on outside systems or maintain self-sufficiency? The decisions reflect sophisticated analysis rather than primitive fear. Outsiders see houses without electrical lines and assume complete technology rejection without investigating the pneumatic tools, solar panels, and battery-powered devices throughout Amish communities. Myth 2. The Amish have no contact with non-Amish people and live in total isolation from modern society. The truth. The Amish interact with mainstream society daily through business, medical care, and necessary services while maintaining a distinct cultural identity that creates the illusion of isolation. Amish craftsmen sell furniture to non-Amish customers, creating regular business relationships. They shop at mainstream grocery stores, hardware stores, and farm supply businesses. Farmers markets bring Amish vendors into contact with hundreds of non-Amish customers weekly. Medical care happens almost exclusively through mainstream healthcare systems. Amish patients visit the same doctors, hospitals, and dentists as everyone else. They hire non-Amish drivers for trips to medical appointments, shopping excursions, and visiting distant relatives. Financial services require outside interaction. Amish families use banks, hire accountants for tax preparation, and consult lawyers for business and property matters. Some Amish work for non-Amish employers in construction, manufacturing, or other trades. Tourism creates constant outside contact in areas with significant Amish populations. Curious visitors photograph, question, and observe Amish families going about daily business, making genuine isolation impossible. The Amish maintain such distinct cultural identity through dress, language, and practices that their frequent interaction with outsiders gets overlooked in favor of their obvious difference from mainstream society. Myth 3. The Amish are universally happy because their simple lifestyle eliminates modern stress and provides fulfillment that materialistic culture cannot achieve. The truth. Romanticized views of Amish life ignore mental illness, domestic violence, poverty, and unhappiness that affect Amish communities at rates comparable to mainstream society despite their simplified lifestyle. Depression occurs in Amish communities, though it often goes undiagnosed and untreated because mental health care remains stigmatized and poorly understood. Suicide rates among Amish youth approach general population levels, contradicting beliefs that simple living prevents despair. Domestic violence exists but remains severely underreported because victims have limited access to outside resources and face intense community pressure to maintain marriages regardless of abuse. Some women suffer silently for decades in situations that mainstream culture would consider intolerable. Not all Amish choose their lifestyle willingly. Some feel trapped by lack of education, job skills for the outside economy, and social connections beyond their communities. The limitation of leaving creates resentment that simple living cannot eliminate. Community pressure creates different stresses than modern life, but not necessarily fewer stresses. Conformity requirements, constant social observation, and inability to pursue individual interests based on natural talents all create psychological burdens. Why the myth persists? Outsiders project their fantasies about escaping modern stress onto Amish communities, seeing what they want to see rather than acknowledging that human struggles transcend lifestyle choices. Myth 4. The Amish are uneducated and ignorant because schooling stops at 8th grade. The truth. Limiting formal education to 8th grade reflects deliberate choice about education priorities rather than anti-intellectual stance, and practical education continues throughout Amish lives through apprenticeships and hands-on learning. Functional literacy rates in Amish communities remain very high. Most Amish adults read fluently in both English and Pennsylvania Dutch, with many reading extensively throughout their lives despite limited formal schooling. Business acumen among Amish entrepreneurs often proves quite sophisticated. They negotiate contracts, manage finances, handle taxes, and operate successful businesses that compete effectively with mainstream companies. This requires substantial practical intelligence and mathematical capability. Apprenticeship systems teach complex trades through hands-on experience. By age 20, many Amish young adults possess carpentry, farming, or other trade skills that exceed what most college graduates ever develop. The knowledge proves different from academic learning, but not inferior for practical purposes. Agricultural knowledge in Amish communities runs deep, with farmers understanding soil management, crop rotation, animal husbandry, and sustainable practices refined over generations. This represents genuine expertise that formal degrees cannot replicate. Mainstream culture equates formal schooling credentials with intelligence, assuming that people without high school diplomas or college degrees must be ignorant regardless of their actual knowledge and capabilities. Myth 5. Children are forced to remain Amish with no choice about whether to join the church or can never leave once they do. The truth. The Amish practice adult baptism specifically to ensure that church membership represents voluntary choice rather than childhood indoctrination, though the social pressure and practical barriers to leaving remain substantial. Rumspringa, the period between ages 16 and baptism, allows Amish teenagers to explore the outside world to varying degrees depending on community rules. Some experience relatively wild behavior, including drinking, parties, and technology use before deciding whether to join the church. Approximately 10 to 15% of Amish youth choose not to get baptized and leave for mainstream society. Those who leave before baptism face no shunning and can maintain relationships with family members, though social ties naturally weaken as lives diverge. Only baptized members face shunning if they later leave the church. This represents consequence for breaking sacred vows rather than punishment for simply choosing a different lifestyle. The distinction matters theologically, even if the practical result feels similar. Some who leave thrive in the outside world, building successful lives and maintaining positive perspectives on their Amish upbringings. Others struggle profoundly with limited education, no job skills for modern economy, and social isolation from both Amish communities and mainstream society where they lack connections. The choice technically exists, but operates within severe constraints that make free choice more complicated than outsiders often recognize. Why the myth persists. Misunderstanding the shunning rules and not recognizing the difference between social pressure and physical force creates belief that Amish cannot leave. Myth 6. The Amish are poor because they reject modern economic opportunities and technology that would increase their earning potential. The truth. Many Amish families achieve substantial financial prosperity through successful businesses, agricultural operations, and most importantly, extremely low expenses that allow wealth accumulation impossible for debt-burdened mainstream families. Amish furniture makers, builders, and craftsmen often operate thriving businesses that generate six-figure annual revenues. The quality reputation of Amish construction and craftsmanship commands premium prices that compensate for slower production methods. Agricultural operations, while labor-intensive, often prove quite profitable. The absence of expensive equipment purchases, the use of family labor, and direct-to-consumer sales through farmers markets create profit margins that conventional farms struggle to achieve. The real wealth advantage comes from minimal expenses. No mortgage debt, no car payments, no college tuition, no credit card balances. The absence of these major expenses that cripple mainstream household finances means that modest incomes translate into substantial savings and investment. Real estate holdings in some Amish families span hundreds of acres accumulated across generations and held debt-free. The land values represent millions of dollars in assets that plain dress and simple lifestyles conceal from casual observation. Some Amish individuals qualify as millionaires by any standard, though their wealth remains invisible behind modest homes and practical clothing. The simple living represents choice rather than necessity for many prosperous Amish families. Why the myth persists. Confusing plain dress, simple homes, and lack of luxury goods with poverty, when these actually represent deliberate choices by people who could afford more but choose differently. Myth 7. The Amish are exceptionally healthy due to physical labor, organic food, and lack of modern stress. The truth. While some health advantages exist from active lifestyles and whole foods diets, Amish communities face significant health challenges, including genetic disorders, limited preventive care, and chronic conditions that contradict romanticized, perfect health narratives. Genetic disorders occur at elevated rates in Amish populations due to limited gene pools and marriages within small founding populations. Certain communities experience high rates of dwarfism, metabolic disorders, and other genetic conditions that require specialized medical care. Diabetes affects some Amish communities at rates exceeding general population levels, partly due to diets high in refined carbohydrates and partly from genetic predisposition. Cancer occurs at roughly similar rates as mainstream society, despite organic food and active lifestyles. Dental problems prove common because preventive dental care receives low priority and regular checkups happen infrequently. By middle age, many Amish adults have significant tooth decay and loss that earlier intervention would have prevented. Physical labor creates occupational injuries and chronic pain that affect quality of life in older adults. Damaged joints, back problems, and repetitive stress injuries accumulate over lifetimes of demanding manual work. Life expectancy in Amish communities approximates general population levels, neither dramatically higher nor lower. The lifestyle creates different health challenges rather than eliminating health problems altogether. Why the myth persists. Romanticizing natural lifestyles and organic food while ignoring real health challenges that all human populations face regardless of lifestyle choices. Myth 8. All Amish communities follow the same rules and believe the same things. The truth. Enormous variation exists between Amish communities, with different settlements following dramatically different rules about technology, dress, church governance, and daily practices that outsiders often miss entirely. Old Order Amish represent the most conservative groups, rejecting electricity, automobiles, and most modern conveniences. New Order Amish permit some technologies, including electricity in barns and workshops, though not in homes. Beachy Amish allow cars, electricity, and other technologies that Old Order communities strictly forbid. The Ordnung, the unwritten rules governing community life, varies significantly between settlements, even within the same Amish affiliation. What's permitted in one community might be forbidden 50 miles away. Dress codes differ noticeably to trained observers. Prayer cap styles, dress colors, and beard requirements all vary by community, serving as visual indicators of which specific settlement individuals belong to. Church governance structures range from bishop-led autocracy to more democratic processes involving congregation input. The authority dynamics differ substantially between communities despite sharing core Amish identity. No central Amish authority exists to enforce uniformity. Each settlement operates independently, creating diversity that outsiders typically don't recognize because they focus on commonalities like plain dress and horse-drawn buggies. Why the myth persists: outsiders see obvious similarities, plain clothing, horse buggies, no electricity, and miss the substantial variations in rules, beliefs, and practices between different Amish groups. Myth 9.